Hello friends, this is Worm, and today I wanted to talk about Destiny 2 and what Bungie could potentially do to bring players back to the game. Because the game's in a pretty sorry state, if I'm being honest with myself. Plus, numbers aren't lying. Numbers are saying that players' accounts are way down. So I figured we'd talk about some fun ideas that Bungie could potentially do to bring players back to the game. But first, I want to talk about this recent holiday season and why I have not been posting very much. There's a number of reasons. Number one, it's the holidays, family comes to town and all that stuff. So been spending a lot of time with family, not playing very much Destiny. Also, we did experience a family loss as well, and so that's kind of put a damper on things. But also Destiny 2, let's just be honest, Destiny 2 has not been really feeling up to snuff. It has not been necessarily entertaining or fun to me as of late. And, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video and talk about some ideas that, Bungie could potentially do to make Destiny 2 more entertaining. So with that being said, I want to talk about probably the most easy answer, which is in terms of content, because Destiny 2, the content in Destiny 2, the activities just are so lackluster and so boring, and it's always the same thing. Yes, technically, Tomb of Elders, we don't have a Tomb of Elders. It's cool for a week or two, but it's always the same thing with every single season, every single episode. It's introduce new activity. That new activity is basically the same thing. Go here, do this task, kill these enemies. Go here, do this task, kill these enemies. And there's not really anything that's breaking the mold for the game, which is really problematic, and really it makes it difficult to enjoy, because okay, how many times can I just kill enemies over and over? How many different builds can I try? I've tried tons of different builds, to make it more entertaining. And yeah, build crafting adds to the life of the game, because okay, well, I'm done playing on Titan. I've tried everything on Titan. Let me move to Warlock and play on Warlock and try all these different builds on Warlock. But when you've done all that, it's just not entertaining and it's not fun. And so in terms of the content, Bungie needs to add some new content, and not just new content. I don't want to say new content. They need to add some revolutionizing content. They need to change up the formula of how content is working. And I know I've seen some posts on media here recently about Sparrow Racing League, but Sparrow Racing League is a grand idea, or just something that Bungie could add to the game to potentially make Destiny 2 more fun in the long run, because Sparrow Racing League breaks the mold of what Destiny is. Destiny is a first-person looter shooter. Sparrow Racing League is literally you get on your Sparrow and you race people. It's a racing game, which is completely and fundamentally different. And even if they don't introduce it as a ongoing event throughout the year, I think that they could at least bring back, maybe once every 2 months, just bring back a week of Sparrow Racing. And everybody just gets in, and everybody's Sparrows the same speed, and it's Sparrows only, or maybe it's Skimmers only, two different playlists, something like that, so that it's just more entertaining, something to do besides just okay, kill enemies, or okay, go play PvP, because those are getting boring. Now, aside from Sparrow Racing League, I don't really know what else Bungie could do. That's again, I'm going to leave that up to the creative design at Bungie to figure out new game-changing ideas for what kind of activities we have. And I know that one of the struggles of doing this is, of course, it is a first-person shooter. How much can you add that's not first-person shooter related before it's okay, it's still the same thing? Anything that you add into Destiny 2 that's first-person shooter related is going to feel the same after a while. Even though Tomb of Elders is way different than Strikes, or doing a Nightfall, or whatever last season's activity was, I can't remember the name of it, Breach executable, stuff like that. It's still okay, it's shooting stuff, it's playing support, it's healing this, it's healing that. Sorry if you hear a bunch of noise in the background. But it's all the same kind of stuff with as time goes on. I think that that's kind of problematic, but of course Bungie, they have been pretty good about changing things up for us, and I think that introducing more content that is just changes the way that we play is a big deal. Now, moving on from there, I think that the loot obviously is a huge part of a looter shooter. It's literally in half the name. It's a looter shooter, and I think it's about time we get another rarity or another tier of weapon. Of course, we have common, which is white, which nobody even uses common anymore unless you just start the game. We have rare, we have uncommon, then we have legendary purples, and then of course exotics, which are yellow. It's about time we add another tier. What that tier will be, I don't know, I'd kind of leave it up to Bungie, but like kind of some ideas that I had is introduce a black tier. Okay, and maybe you can play with some of the history of Destiny and do a black armory weapon. Okay, but these weapons and armor pieces, they come with very, very unique functionality. You know, instead of just being like, oh, like it's a pulse rifle that can get outlaw and kill clip, which is really awesome, or you know, it's a hand cannon that get incandescent and heal clip, which is awesome. Like, we need something to really spice up the next tier of weapon. And how Bungie wants to do this, like an idea that I had personally is give it a third column trait. You know, okay, so for example, like you have you get a pulse rifle that can roll with outlaw and heal clip and incandescent, you know, and then also you could give it a third what's it called, stat changing modifier. You know, you have the barrels, you have the sights or the magazines, and then you can add stocks to it. You know, so now instead of just 4 columns worth of perks that you can pick from, now you have 6. But the trade-off is that these weapons are incredibly rare. Okay, and that's the big thing about the looter shooter. Like Destiny 2, even though it is technically still a looter shooter, it doesn't feel very loot driven. Like, I get so many legendaries, so many exotics. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of boring. If Bungie were to bring in a new tier of weapon, they would have to be so ultra rare, not able to be obtained through just any old means, you know, like, or maybe actually scratch that. Maybe you can get them from anywhere, but they have just a super low drop chance. You know, when you're decrypting, say, exotic Ingrams, you have a 0.05% chance to get, you know, one of these black tier weapons, and they function basically the same as legendary. It's not like you can only equip one black tier weapon or black tier armor piece at a time. Like, you can equip a full set if you wanted to, because again, they're not really meant to change like the way that you play the game. Like exotics, the reason why you're limited to 1 is because they do things that are exotics. And with the idea of the black tier weapon that I have, it's not so much about doing things just totally different. It's just giving your weapon more bang for its buck, right? And so, you know, you can equip multiple pieces at a time, but again, obtaining those armor pieces is so like exponentially rare that like you barely come across them. You know, once or twice a week maybe. It's like, oh my gosh, I just got a black weapon. It's a hand cannon. Does it have a good roll? It has a decent roll, but it's not the best roll or something like that. So I'll just dismantle it, and then maybe when you dismantle it, you get a certain currency, you know, like black market parts or something like that, you know, that you can take and eventually spend to buy you know, a different black tier, you know, black market. Let's just call it black market, black armory, black market weapon, just something like that. But I think that would benefit Destiny 2 so tremendously, because again, one of the reasons why Destiny 2 does not feel as unique as Destiny 1 is because Destiny 1 had so much RNG in it that it was insane. And granted, Destiny 1's RNG was almost problematic, and it got toxic because, you know, you'd have players that would literally kick you out of a raid group for not using Gallahorn or not having X weapon or, you know, whatever. And I don't think we need to go back to that, but introducing that element of looting, of RNG back to the game would bring players back. Like, I know that if I played Destiny 2 and there was a chance, like a 0.06% chance that I could get a crazy good weapon with just crazy perk combos, you know, and insane stuff on it, I would 100% be playing Destiny a lot more, because I'm increasing my chances to get those. And I think the big key here about, you know, this new tier of weapon is don't have it associated with a quest. Don't associate it with, you know, oh, here's a guaranteed way to get one. Let it be completely random. And I know a lot of players are not gonna like the sound of that, but again, that's kind of what makes Destiny feel so special, because you could be somebody who's been playing for maybe 50 hours and you literally get the most godly luck and you get, you know, an insane black market weapon, you know, or you could be somebody like me who has 5,000 plus hours or 6,000 plus. I don't remember how many hours I have, but you have X amount of hours that's way up there and you still just can't get these weapon drops. And like, yeah, it can feel frustrating, but again, it's like playing at a casino, you know, it's like gambling, so to speak, which I know gambling is maybe not the most healthy example to use here. It's like, I'm going to keep playing, I'm going to keep doing this because I have another chance at getting, you know, one of these black market weapons, one of these new tiers of weapon. I didn't get it. So I'm going to play for another hour and see if I get it, you know, and then, oh, like, okay, the last game of the night, boom, I finally get one, you know, and it just feels crazy good. Then you get to go and test it. But again, these black market weapons, or whatever the new tier Bungie wants to call it, or however they want to address it, they need to be really, really special, but not necessarily breaking the mold of the game, you know. I think that, you know, adding an additional stat changing column for maybe stocks or grips or something like that, and then adding a third perk column that you can get, like maybe a reload perk in, or you can get, you know, maybe you can get a weapon with strategist, strategist, pugilist, and demolitionist on. That would be cool. You know, then all of a sudden you have a legendary weapon that can literally refill all of your abilities at once. I think that would be a really neat idea, and that would definitely bring players back to Destiny 2. But moving on from that idea, I think just more sandbox changes, and this is not really a problem that Destiny 2 has. I think this is mainly just, it's the holiday season. There's not a lot of people playing Destiny 2, developers are on vacation, stuff like that, but introducing more game-changing metas to PvP and PvE would be so beneficial. Like, guys, there are so many people, myself included, who do videos and topics on how Bungie can change exotics and how Bungie can change you know, perks and stuff like that, so that they feel more unique and they feel cool and they feel special. All Bungie has to do is just have one person at their studio go and look through, pick out 5 ideas that they like, and just take those and say, hey, let's implement these into the game somehow. And that will completely change the meta, change how it works. And I think that if you refresh the meta more often, players would probably come back more to see what it's all about, you know, like, oh, like I've been playing for, you know, X amount of time, like I'm kind of burnt out on it. Okay, that's fine, but we have a new meta coming up. Well, what's the new meta? Well, it's gonna, you know, Huckleberry is gonna be a new meta option. It's like, okay, Huckleberry, like what's the change? And you read the change, it's like, oh my god, like that sounds actually kind of crazy. That sounds like it's gonna fundamentally change the way that I play and stuff like that. That would definitely help to bring players back in and have those metas changing every 6 weeks. And I know maybe that's a lot to ask. Maybe every 6 weeks is a lot to ask, because I don't know the development time for changing exotics and stuff like that. But every 6 weeks would definitely keep the game feeling fresh, because right now, one of the problems with Destiny 2 is it just feels so stale. You know, I didn't play hardly any of the Dawning. In fact, if you go back and look at my game history, I played a little bit last night, which was January 5th. Before that, I think the last time I really played the game was December 19th. So I haven't played in like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, to any substantial degree. I did the raid last week so I could get a couple of red borders, but after I finished the raid, I left. I didn't even craft the red border that I got. I just left, you know, I just got off the game, went and played something else. But yeah, that's kind of just some of the ideas that I have for changing up Destiny 2 to make it feel refreshing again. We're at a low point, and I think Bungie's on the right course with reintroducing RNG this season. You know, we have RNG weapons. You can't craft these weapons. You have to get lucky with them. Unfortunately, the way you get them, they're still handed out way too much. I mean, I can literally go in and farm like 10 grid skippers in the course of an hour, and one of them is guaranteed to be the role that I'm looking for, basically. Well, not basically, but you get the idea. It's not hard. I think that, you know, they're going in the right direction, but I think that we still just need a little bit more. I'm also not looking forward to next episode. Like the new exotic shotgun that's coming looks pretty cool, but I'm not looking forward to doing that mission like 17 times to get all the stuff for it. Like I'm sorry, but that's something that also really I don't like. Another thing, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because I don't know what other video I would put it in, but another thing that I really don't like about Destiny 2 is that you have to play the story on all 3 characters all the way through to have access to these quests and stuff. Like last night, I was having to do all of Act 1 on my Warlock so that I could play Tomb of Elders, and that was incredibly tedious and incredibly boring. Bungie, please change that so that once you do it on one character, you have access to it on all your different characters, please. Please. Because that literally makes me not want to play the game. Like I literally was doing that stuff, and I decided, you know what, I don't want to play Destiny anymore because it's so boring to sit here and farm these tiny little missions, like go talk to so and so, go talk to so and so, and oh, it's just annoying. But anyways, with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on what Bungie can do to bring players back to Destiny 2. I've shared some of my ideas, but I want to hear your thoughts. Like, you know, do you have any crazy ideas that Bungie could do to bring players back? What do you think about my ideas? Do you have any improvements to my ideas? Just tell me all that stuff in the comments. Of course, do me a favor, watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all in the next one, guys. Bye for now.